Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 22 driver career mode with Alpha Tauri, episode number 33 today for the Hungarian Grand Prix of Season 2, round number 11. If you missed the previous episode uploaded last week in Austria, I highly recommend you go and check that out. A biblical race there. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more F1 22 driver career mode videos. Coming in this one then, R&D wise, that major DRS upgrade decided to fail, which is frustrating. Not that it really matters at Hungary anyway, as well. We're also going to put a major engine power upgrade as well, which will come in for Belgium. We don't need it for Hungary, and to try and that's going to put us past Red Bull as well. Fortunately though, a minor front downforce upgrade that we had planned did fail, as we're going to have a wet qualifying and a wet race as well. So that's going to be interesting to see if we can what kind of pace we've got in the wets. We haven't had a proper full, I mean, I know we've had, you know, a wet sprint, Austria and Brazil last season. We haven't had a full wet race yet, so that's going to be definitely interesting on the full wets as well. R&D wise though, business as usual, was climbing above Alfa Romeo, but they're not really on our level with their drivers, lowly focused down there. So, you know, our main targets are McLaren and Mercedes really, although McLaren are ahead thanks to Lando Norris's work in the Drivers' Championship. But anyway, the focus for now is qualifying in the wet, and the first time out I actually went out on the Inters. And well, let's just say that Zhou is faster than me on the Inters. Leclerc down there as well, not having a great time for the reigning world champion of late. Maybe Red Bull's car not really suiting this track. To be fair, the Alpha Tauri doesn't suit this there. We popped in a time that was P6, but we dropped to P14 as we moved to our final flying lap, moving to the full wet tyres. Just to, you know, it was a gamble on the Inters. And you know, whether or not we could have probably gone fast at the Inters, I don't know, because the rains continue to fall. But then this is the F1 game, and you know, the wet weather on this game, you know, you don't know about that. That's the thing. It's not like you can tell, like in real life. There's puddles, you're going to need full wets, or it's just a bit slippery. You can probably get away with the intermediates. This is sort of a bit of a crossover period, because offline there's loads of puddles, but online there aren't. So, you know, that's just that thing that, you know, the F1 game fails to negotiate really. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below about that. But anyway, back to the qualifying lap. We've gained massively, 6/10 up on our previous best time. We're a second up on Zhou Guanyu as we enter the middle sector. Through into the final sector. Always lose time against the AI through this final sector for some reason. I don't know why. I do. It's through this corner. You don't want to hit those cemented curves are horrible. If you hit them, then you know you're just gonna your tyre gets caught in them, and they're just horrible. You know, as we come up to the line 8 and a bit tense up on our previous best time, and that's good enough actually for P9 as well. So that I'll definitely take that P9 as well. Carlos Sainz has pole by 5,000ths of a second to his old teammate Max Verstappen. Excuse me, Alex Albon. Great job by our former teammate in the Williams car to out-qualify us. He's up in P7. Williams looking good as well at Tsunoda's P12. So, you know, we've got likes of Ocon and Norris down the order as well. So we'll see what we can do from 9th on the grid. It's time for the race day's Hungarian Grand Prix.
Welcome to Budapest once again for another round of Formula One action. Historically a good race for first victories, with Button, Hill, Alonso and Heikki Kovalainen all reaching the top step of the podium for the first time here. The Hungaroring, it's like Monaco without the boats. Although the boats today could come in very handy. 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right, and some very tricky corners to deal with. These rainy conditions out there aren't going to help either, so it's very likely we'll see a safety car or two during today's race. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Albon, Vettel, Phoenix, Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly, Sainz, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon and Norris, Stroll, Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou and Valtteri Bottas, Mick Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. With me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. Let's talk about Phoenix. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
Well, there are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out will have boosted their confidence coming into this race.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Bad news for Carlos Sainz there. He has taken a grid penalty, so he's lost pole position. We are going to be on a no-stop strategy because it's a 25% race. So 5 red lights then to the Hungarian Grand Prix, and away we go. And well, as usual in the wet and unlocked F122, it's an atrocious start. Absolutely everyone going on. Gasly, Ricciardo. We're going to try and dive it down the inside. In actual fact, it's a great start. Never mind that. Never mind what I was saying. The first corner's been brilliant. We're up to P4. We were absolutely nowhere off that start. All of a sudden, we jumped up to P4. Lando Norris as well having a great start at turn 1. Maybe not getting that initial launch. He goes down the inside. Of our teammate Gasly, you see. I think that was a Williams in the spray as they're going 3 wide now down the hill between Ricciardo, Gasly and Ricciardo. So if someone's going to get forced out here, and it is Lando Norris who has to settle behind Gasly, and then Gasly gets forced out by Ricciardo, who has to then settle behind Ricciardo. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's Max Verstappen who is comfortably leading this race. Doesn't look absolutely under threat from George Russell or Charles Leclerc as well. And as we jump to lap 7, I think you can guess what's happening here. It's actually getting quite dull. Albon, to be fair, is falling back now as well. We're just keeping Perez and Vettel behind comfortably. Perez not really challenging so far. So we've gone wide though. Perez up the inside. There's contact between myself and Perez. We're going to squeeze him to the inside. He's going to dive us. I'm going to try and keep this online to not get any floor damage. And there's contact as he gets glued to my side pod there. We do retain P4, but surely Perez has damage from that. He should have really yielded at that point when, I've already gone past. And I thought that I'd gone past at that point, to be honest. But in actual fact, he was still there as well. But at this point, I'm already past. Yes, I've taken the curbing, and then he's, tried to force the pass. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But Perez decides not to come in actually, so he's actually holding everyone up as Lewis Hamilton makes an overtake on Alex Albon, a rare overtake because everyone is just stuck in a train behind Perez. And well, that's pretty much the story of this race, really. Running away from Perez, though Team Radio.
Information on Leclerc. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Well, that's interesting. So Leclerc has some sort of issue with his engine. So this is great news for us, because we're going to reel him in here. Fortunately, we're going to jump to lap 16. We got the gap down from 9.6 to 3.5 seconds. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, Leclerc fixed the issue, which is such a shame, because I'd love to have been able to battle Leclerc, see what we could have done, and see if we could have got that podium away, snatched that podium away from him, because we are under no obligation whatsoever. Although we are in the junior Red Bull team, we're not an obligation whatsoever to actually let him past, as well as we come across the line then for P4, which I will definitely take you know, Hungary was not a track that I was looking forward to, because of the way the car is set up, you know, being fast in a straight line. We weren't actually looking to get good points here, but you know, managed to get that brilliant start at turn 1, overtaking 4 cars basically at turn 1 to get that P4 from P8 on the grid. You know, Norris didn't score as well, so that's good news in our, I don't want to say fight for hit with him, but you know, McLaren now are well in our sights as well. And we're actually only 8 points behind Lando as well. Gasly gets another point. He finishes P12. He still remains in P12. We're 12 points behind Mercedes now, as we try and chase them down. McLaren have, because of their good start, still quite a way away in the constructors though, but you know, on track I feel that we can battle them with their car not really upgrading, and Norris only scoring what 3 points in the last 3 races, so compared to our good points haul, I reckon. So yes, there's a lot of work still to be done on the car in the remaining 5 races. We'll have to wait and see later in the season, as we get towards Japan, whether or not we have a regulation change as well for season 3 as well. But Verstappen now, well, he's running away with the championship, really, just like in real life. Leclerc now is starting to struggle in the Red Bull. Perez, you know, has had 4 podiums this year, but you know, not there to be able to take points off Verstappen as well. So yes, that's where I'm going to leave it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, channel new, see plenty more F122 drive career videos as when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.